Hmm. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you guys so much for joining me. And I think I might have already talked about this before. All right, so be warned. I did not look at my channel. I did not even bother to do any kind of research. I'm just winging it and freestyling it at this point. But I had to come up here because a subscriber of mine came on my channel. Excuse me. I was yelling at my kids, y'all. Just whew. Um, I was sorry, I got a message that I had to pick up. So, all right. Y'all remember when I did that three-part series that got a lot of mixed reviews? A lot of my subscribers were very thankful and grateful for the the content and for the comments and for all of the things that I had to say about this particular issue. And I'm talking about the being Mary Jane syndrome. Why did I use that and not the being Joan from girlfriend syndrome? Or why did I not the insecure syndrome? I think that being Mary Jane, I think the reason why I picked being Mary Jane was because it was one of the more recent ones and it was the all-encompassing issues that Black women face in a package, right? Like you have Empire, which I did not see. Then you have all some of the Tyler Perry movies and how they sway towards a particular direction. I am a Tyler Perry fan. You have a couple of movies. I know, I'm sorry, you guys. I kind of like Tyler Perry. I think that he has something for everyone sometimes. Um, but the reason why I picked Being Mary Jane is because a lot of the issues speak to a lot of the issues, right? So I felt like it was very nuanced in how it handles so many of the different issues in a particular light and lens that Black women are used to seeing in other shows, but it had it seemed too real, right? Joan, okay, Girlfriends also was a really good example of some of the issues that are being portrayed, some of the narrative that is being portrayed as the Black female image. Insecure, I got 85% done with it, and I just couldn't anymore. I just could not anymore. And if I were to do a statistical survey about my reaction or the reaction of women to these shows, I would have to say that the person or the place in which you stand when you're watching these shows plays a great role as to how you interpret the Black female image if you're a Black female. And this is one of the major components of this video content. So brace yourself because when I was growing up, all right, let me just do this right now. When I started um watching these shows about Black women, I was single. I had my daughter and I was, struggling. I had just, gotten out of a relationship that was a little bit this and that and the other. And I was getting back into the dating market and I was in my early 20s and girlfriends came along and I was super excited about it because it felt really relatable. I loved the camaraderie of friendship and I could identify with a lot of the issues that Joan was experiencing in her dating life. And but, if you ask any of my girlfriends at the time which character they would equate me with, they would actually give a combination of Tony and what was the mixed one's name? Lynn, right? I would be a mixture of Tony and Lynn. And That's really interesting to me that people experience me that way. I won't agree or disagree. I will just say that women are more multifaceted than just a character on a screen. But your narrative that is being portrayed in media is important for you to be cognizant of because people relate to characters on TV like they relate to culture in real life. This goes back to the idea that I was talking about art imitating life and life imitating art. Which is which, and where do we draw the lines? Because in our multifaceted experiences, I have to be very careful how I say this because I'm not one of those people either. But people's experiences don't always have to be status quo and stereotypical. And that's why my friends had to make a combination of both Lynn and Tony, is because I have my bougie side and I have my earthy side. And those things exist in me still, but not the way that they used to exist back then because I'm now an evolved human being. And I think that when people watch these shows and they relate to them, women particularly relate to these characters, there needs to be space and grace for growth. And I think I liked that there was a lot of space in Girlfriends for that growth to take place. But it was a painful experience because some of the things that were taking place did absolutely not need to take place. It was unnecessary suffering in part of the characters. And these women are the representatives of who we are, mainly because we do not have up until recently, we have not had Black female representation like it is today. And the representation that we have today is a collective of a particular type of woman that is single, empowered, and childless. I'm going to say it again. She is single, empowered, and childless. She's not linked to any family. And please, y'all, I live in Germany. I do not get American cable anymore. So if I am wrong, link some of that stuff down below. If I'm wrong, tell me a show that is not like this, okay? And this is I'm not Sister Hara Ajad Ali, okay? I'm not some Farrakhan Muslim, okay? Y'all, although, hmm, anyways, that's for another day. This is not a religious rant. Um, I don't consider myself to be a strongly religious person, but I really do see that there's a huge issue with the Black female narrative being constantly just this person that is working and chilling with friends and having a lot of sex and just me, my, whatever. And doing all of this dumb shit. Like, like, are we really that dumb? And that's why I find these shows quite offensive because there is no space and grace. And I'm talking specifically about series because TV is different. Like a movie ends and it ends, but the series are things that people sit down for, collectively discuss, identify with as you know and identify with this as a character is supposed to develop into something. Now, I'm not a story writer. I've written some small bits of things here and there. And so I will not put myself on the level of the writers who come up with these shows. But we need a new narrative, or we need a more diverse narrative, because it seems like Black women are only this highly sexual, hypergamous, highly individual, highly successful, highly lonely, highly bitchy, and nothing else. And I take personal offense to that because I would like to see some inspirational woman on television who has done something other than that or speaks to the issues from a more positive light. There is another one. There is another one with Megan Good, but it's the same shit. Different story, different person, same story. And I am kind of exhausted about this, and this is why I don't watch a lot of black television anymore because since the Cosby Show, and that was its own debacle because it's what has transpired with Mr. Cosby over the years, is just heartbreaking that we have nothing else. And I feel like this is a new way of dismantling the black family and the black image by creating a defamation of character on and off screen. And we celebrate it. This is sad. And I wish that and we're doing it to ourselves. That's the really messed up part, is that I've researched some of the writers. There were a couple of others on Netflix, but it's just the same thing. It's just liberal. I don't want extremism. I don't want something extremely liberal, and I don't want something extremely conservative. I just want people who are dealing with real issues in real life that have thoughts that are deeper than sex and money and designer bags and clothes. I'm and I know people are gonna come and say, "Oh, but Mary Jane had a baby." No, that baby was because no, she did not have a baby in the concept and the context of wanting to have a family and a relationship, because she's not that type of person. You don't see that baby now place in the series. Spoiler alert. You see her carrying that kid here and there, and talking about, I don't even know, like she ended up, no, I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get into it again because it came up in my feed, and I want to make sure that we understand the common trend, right? In Insecure, there was this back and forth between her job, and her boyfriend, who was a loser, who she left. I'm sorry. I did not finish the series. I couldn't. It was too much ridiculousness for me. And I I realized that I struggle with these characters having the level of depth of dealing with some of the issues from a place and a perspective of grace that usually a lot of other women, a lot of other female protagonists have, that they come to some kind of awakening and resolution within their development of character that leads them to a better life. You don't see that in our female narrative. And even when we do see it, it is very fake and very shallow because it's unbelievable. And the journey from growth, from the journey from the struggle to the growth, is very short and very surfaced. And that's just my criticism as a non-writer, as a consumer of content and a consumer of film. We can do better. We should be doing better. We need to do better because it is so, so tired. And I am understanding that there are a lot of issues that people want to cover, and they want to cover them well, and they want to make sure that they cover them in a way that is respectful to how we are in real life. But you can't tell me that all our women across the board are only like these women. What about the more conservative woman? What about the woman who, yeah, there are a lot of missed opportunities in some of these spaces and places, and I think that we need to be able to revisit how the Black female image is being portrayed in media and start to speak out a little bit more about what it is we want to see, what we want to see included in our representation of us. And it was very sad for me, especially when the young man mentioned about Insecure, because I was excited for her because she came up off of YouTube. So I believe that there are going to be way more people like her, way more women like her who hopefully watch this video and give a more diverse aspect of who we are, like give a more diverse aspect of our experiences. And they don't always have to be negative. I believe that writers can create good stories that aren't just drama. And we have seen that with Cosby. All of the scandal aside, The Cosby Show was definitely a show of many from that time that was able to handle life as a African American or person of Black African descent in a way that wasn't just about drama and just about the Black female in the context of her own self and her self-actualization that leads no fucking where. Sorry. I hope you guys are having a good week. Gee whiz, it's Christmas. Christmas. Yeah. Stay safe and stay free.